Hello there! Today we are going to help you pass your Cambridge exam. That is essentially what we are going to do. Specifically, we're going to focus on the comparing pictures section in the speaking section of the exam, which is part 2. So we've got some great tips for you. We've been teaching this exam for a long time and we've got some great tips for you. First tip, we need to be speculative. So we need to use speculative words. We can say things like maybe and might.
That's pretty good, yeah. But we can make things more complicated.
Better, I think, is...
Better and get some higher marks in the exam. So of course, all of these modal verbs, could, might, may, can, maybe, things like that. But we can make the grammar more advanced. We can say things like, he could have walked to the mountains. That would be something simple. He could have walked to the mountains.
He might have walked to the mountains.
He might have walked to the mountains. We can change that word. He may have walked to the mountains. And that would be a nice way, but we can make it even better than that. Imagine, you see them and they look a little bit tired. You could say, these people could have been walking all day. They could have been walking. So we have this structure. Could have been plus an ing verb. Might have been, could have been, may have been. All of them are great.
That's some really good advice. If you can put this in your exam, I promise you, you will get top marks. So remember, speculate.
And with this, I really recommend practicing. Say it 1,000 times. Don't just write it down now. Say it out loud. You don't want to be in the exam thinking, what was that structure? Might plus the auxiliary verb have, or might have, and then I need the participle. No. Say different examples. Might have been going, might have been walking, might have been eating, might have been celebrating, might have been studying. There's all of these.
I think this is a good moment then for tip 2. Practice. You can practice with a friend, but also you can practice with a teacher. We've been giving classes for a long time and we love teaching this exam. And so it's a great opportunity to get that mechanism. They might have been, they may have been, they could have been. Because Josh is right, in the exam, it's a bit late now.
Yeah, and you will feel stressed with a lot of pressure. So make sure you are prepared with these structures so you're not trying to invent them in the moment.
Exactly. Tip 3 is you must compare. I see many students not comparing the two photos. So we need to use comparative language, okay, which we're going to help you with now.
What could that be? What type of words could we use to compare easily?
We can use, easily. However.
While. So, Casey is wearing a red jumper, while Josh is wearing a blue jumper. Very simple. We're saying two facts. Casey's wearing a red jumper, I'm wearing a blue jumper. We put the word while, suddenly we are comparing.
Exactly. We can even put it at the beginning. While Casey is wearing a red jumper, Josh is wearing a blue jumper.
So by using these words, we're making comparisons without using crazy language.
But we can add a bit of craziness. We can use, for example, on the one hand, and then on the other hand. So on the one hand, we can see Casey has a nice, beautiful red jumper. On the other hand, Josh has a dark blue, dirty jumper.
But you bought me this for my birthday. You really did.
On to tip number 4. You really should learn topics because in the exam they're actually asking you for specialist vocabulary. So it's not enough to say a man is walking. We need to say a man is hiking up a mountain and use very specific vocabulary. Now to do that you have to practice topics.
And with the B2 exam, the topics are often quite predictable. It's often transport, holidays, studying, work. and family and celebrating things. So make sure you know specific vocabulary related to those topics. Maybe even a few phrasal verbs that are nice and specific for each subject.
Did you say phrasal verbs? Well, I mean, it's funny because we've done a video on phrasal verbs, but I was going to say that we also have a video or a set of videos preparing you for the speaking of the C1 exam, which talks about travel, which talks about online dating, which talks about fake news and other issues, and prepares you for the exam with specialist vocabulary.
Exactly. So you can go and watch that video and then read our blog post, which has all of the specialist vocabulary there, so you can learn it, write it down, and then implement it in your exams.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to learn vocabulary, you should definitely go on to our online courses, because we have one called Learn 50 Words, and it is full of vocabulary, which is perfect for your exam. So those are our 4 tips. I hope you have learned something useful, sir.
As always, the most important thing to do is practice.
Practice, 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 practice.
And that's what we're here for, to help you practice.
Thank you very much for your time. Please like and subscribe. If you think we've missed something, comment it down below, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, do you think that you have a better tip? Tell us.
I bet you don't.
We'll include it in our next video and maybe even give you credit. See you next time.